Ashley here. I hope you're doing well. My name is Ashley Diet, and I run a Facebook group called Healthy in a Hurry Essential Oils, and I'm part of the Greater Oily Angels community. And I am here today to just share with you a little about how to get started really using essential oils on your kids. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have this link out there publicly so that everybody can get on and get excited. What I am going to do is today just go through again some basics of essential oils and kids, and I'm sending the YouTube link right now out to several of you guys that are interested and excited about getting on here. And then I'm going to go through again just some basics. I will say as a disclaimer that I am not a doctor and I'm not here to treat, prescribe, diagnose, cure. I'm just here to give you information, and information really as a mother and as someone that's been using these oils on our kids for about a year. And I can say with complete confidence and with complete really wisdom that I've gained that Young Living is a company that without a doubt stands by their message and their vision of really having essential oils introduced into every home in the world. And my reason for sharing with you is they have truly changed our life in remarkable ways. So today's going to be a rather casual class, going to keep it to 30 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through necessarily a lot of how to use oils or why you would use essential oils, but how to use them on your kids. I get a lot of questions. I'm going to go through this kind of frequently asked questions about ones that are our favorites to use on kids. I asked my 3-year-old how I should start this, and he said, you have to start, Mom, with peppermint, thieves, and his favorite calming roll-on. So we're going to make sure that we actually are going to include those, but I want to do a quick review of how to use essential oils. There are really three ways, but I'd say 4 ways when you include the two different ways of inhaling them. So the first way is topical use. So you can use an oil topically, like per se, and I'm not going to pull out every oil in the world, but say here's some lemon. So when we talk about lemon with kids, maybe you're using lemon on your kid because maybe they have a callus on their foot and you're trying to get that away for them. Or maybe you're using it topically because you're making some kind of basically a wake me up skin cream or a wake me up body wash, and you're adding the lemon to something that will then be put on them topically. So that's one reason you would use oils topically on your kids. And I just grabbed lemon, so that was an example, but one that I would say I use a lot is we really have some dry, irritated skin in my household. Some kids that used to be on a lot of petroleum-based products that were actually prescribed to them, that now what we're able to do is we actually use our oils topically instead of those petroleum-based products. And we don't want to use those products anymore because they were really coating their cell membranes and walls, causing thickening there, and then really just having unhealthy stuff in their bodies and exposing them to toxins that frankly I don't want in my household. And I have been on a mission to get rid of really in the past year. It's been pretty amazing and remarkable the changes. So you could use them for things like making a cream for dry, irritated skin, or you could also use them topically directly on a cut, scrape, bruise, or bump. So we use lavender a lot directly for first aid, and actually not only causes the bleeding to stop, but it helps cells regenerate, and it helps build back together those healthy cells that are going to cause a scab and the progression of healing a lot quicker than, you know, Neosporin and a Band-Aid per se. So that's topical usage. Internal usage, we don't talk about that a lot with kids. I have found in my research that really kids under the age of 9 are not recommended for normal, regular internal usage. So you could occasionally use it, maybe if they're occasionally constipated or if they have severe infections that you're trying to get rid of, you could use them internally, but really age 9 is an estimate of really when you would want to stay away from a lot of internal usage regularly. So that's the second way. The third way is through a diffuser. So most of you on here already have your Young Living starter kit, the premium starter kit through Young Living and your wholesale membership. And a diffuser is a great way to clean and purify the air, get rid of viruses, bacteria, because it actually can digest those. And also to create an environment that is going to be stimulating, uplifting, or relaxing, depending on what emotions you're trying to affect. And it's also a great way for you to actually help them with emotional release and with having healthy emotions. So having a diffuser, each drop of oil has 40 million trillion molecules in it, and those are able to affect every single cell in our body. So it's very beneficial to you and your family to have a diffuser in your home to create a healthy home environment, free of black mold, free of mildew, and really free of those nasty viruses and bacteria that cause us to get sick. And the last way is through direct inhalation. So if you directly inhale something, because your nasal cavities and your olfactory system is directly open to your brain, a lot of children are allowed to just inhale from the bottle or smell something, and that scent affects their brain, which affects their pituitary gland, and it's actually affects really the limbic region of their brain as well, which is the seat of emotion. So it helps them with a lot of things such as sadness. Maybe if they are not the calmest children, or they have a little anxiety, it's going to affect them that way. So those are the 4 ways you use oils, and now I'm just going to go into the oils that I want to make sure that we all know how to use them on our kids. So the first one, because my 3-year-old requested, is peppermint. So peppermint has actually been known to promote mental alertness and focus. And there was a study performed at the University of Cincinnati, I believe, and found that inhaling peppermint increased mental accuracy by 28%. And that's of students. So diffusing peppermint in the morning is a great way to increase alertness and focus, but it's also a great way for you to actually promote recall when you're doing maybe homework with your kids, and then having them go to school and maybe carrying a little roll-on with peppermint on it, or applying peppermint to their wrists or on their forehead, on their temples, as a way to help promote that recall and make sure they're mentally alert and ready for the day. Other great uses for peppermint. I really love this oil for all things digestive in my kids. So mild tummy aches, maybe they're sick to their stomach and they're not just having symptoms that could result in diarrhea. Maybe they're feeling like they're getting the stomach virus, they're going to throw up. Mild headaches, and we use it a lot if they're running a fever right in the belly button directly. And I use that neat on my 3-year-old and dilute it on my kids that are actually 2 and under. Peppermint can be a hot oil, so I would encourage you to dilute it with a carrier oil, high quality carrier oil, such as coconut oil, almond oil, avocado oil, jojoba oil. The list goes on and on, but any of those are great high quality virgin organic oils that you want to make sure you have a high quality of on, because they are going to go directly into your skin. So with hot oils, there's 2 things you can do. You can either mix them together in a roller, or make it a cream and then use that on their bodies directly. And I would dilute, according to Gentle Babies, you dilute really for babies under 6 months old, 1 to 2 drops per tablespoon. And then you can move up and get closer to 50-50 depending on your child's really their immune system, their ability to process things, and their exposure to chemicals. I cannot give you a direct recipe or formula. I can just tell you that for me and my family, we have always gone with less is more with oils with our kids, and then we work our way up to a place that's really comfortable for us. So I would say with my 3-year-old, we do use about a 50-50 dilution ratio, which might be a little strong for other kids. So I'm just telling you what I do personally, and not telling you it's what's best for your family. But I would really start with newborns, just really at that small percentage of 1 to 2 drops per tablespoon. And then with kids that are either very used to oils or older, that 50-50 ratio ends up being okay for most. So peppermint, the other thing you can use it for, I was mentioning with fevers. Well, we put that directly in the belly button, and you can apply it neat if it's a child that's much older, maybe are used to the oil, or you can dilute it. We do it in the belly button and on the temples, and that helps a lot with reducing the symptoms of a fever, and it's a lot safer than an acetaminophen. In our country, we have 750,000 people a year that die from acetaminophen overdose, and a lot of that has to do with liver failure. So something that I just want to keep my kids on the right path to health, and keep it so that they're actually able to really use natural God-given remedies and resources that they have all around them through these oils, instead of relying on a lot of those over-the-counter medications. So a few other oils that can help with alertness and focus, since I was already mentioning it, especially with older children, kids older elementary through high school, I would look at Clarity. Clarity can help reduce mental fatigue and promotes a clear mind, focus, and vitality. I love that oil. It has rosemary in it, peppermint, basil, lemon, I think a few other oils. And then Brain Power. Brain Power has oils that are really going to affect that center of your brain, and higher in sequestered terpenes, and are going to help you with processing thoughts and stimulating your, all your regions of your brain. Sandalwood, cedarwood, melissa, frankincense, blue cypress, and lavender are actually in that. It gives you a boost when you use that oil, and it also is going to really affect your pineal gland and your hypothalamus glands, and that's going to help you with the output of the growth hormone and melatonin. So it's going to cause you to be more alert when you're supposed to be alert, and help you sleep at night as well when your mind's supposed to be rejuvenating and resting. Vetiver. So vetiver is also very high in sequestraterpenes and can help with focus and attention. I love vetiver in a focus roll-on. I use the focus roll-on, really, I use it on myself more than my children, but again, my children are very young. On our actually 13-year-old, we do use the focus roll-on, which is cedarwood, vetiver, and lavender in equal parts, and we dilute it 50% with a carrier oil. Great for children with focus issues. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying and how you can apply that to your family. Great for children with any sort of focus issues. Then finally, along the same arena of increasing focus and alertness, Valor is a great one that will help balance your energy, help balance your children's energy, and really encourage feelings of confidence and promote focus in some cases. I have several testimonials on my team of people that apply it to their younger children, really preschool age, and it just helps them really feel grounded and stable and able to get through their day without being antsy and just really feeling like they aren't sure where to go or what to do or really who to listen to if you think about kids at that age. So those are really my recommendations for children in the area of alertness, clarity, and focus. I'm going to move on to my next oil, and I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly because I think a lot of you know a lot about it. So thieves. Thieves oil is a great oil to have around for your kids. I would encourage you to please really think about your home and the toxins in your home and how you can eliminate them. Triclosan is a known carcinogen, and it's in our hand soaps. An antibacterial hand gel. I would encourage you to use thieves to make your own, and I would also encourage you to make your own thieves spray to keep with you to really ward off germs on shopping carts, on tables. You can use it as a mouse spray, but the dilution ratio for that would be the same as I mentioned above for small babies. But with children, I have found that most of them you can really gauge their sensitivity to this oil, and if they feel that it's hot from the cinnamon and clove, and you're able to use the same, we use the same immune boosting foot rub on my 3-year-old that we do on ourselves. And that recipe, I posted a picture of it earlier today, but you're really using more along the lines of 5 to 10 drops of thieves in there, and then 5 to 10 drops of another immune boosting oil such as oregano, basil, lemongrass, thyme, melrose, melaleuca. So any of those oils, again, these are kid-safe oils. It's all about dilution. That's why I'm doing this class, because I want everyone to really realize that you can use the same things on your children in most cases. You just want to make sure that's right for them. So start off, maybe even if you have an 8-year-old and they're not used to oils, start off with that very, very diluted form of oil, maybe with just using 1 to 2 drops of thieves in maybe a 2 ml, roll-on bottle, and you're using that on the bottom of their feet where they can absorb it and actually be part, or excuse me, have that. I had someone actually calling on here on video call and have that in their system and actually absorb and be part of their immune system. So the next thing I want to go through, lavender. So lavender with children, I get this question all the time. How can you use lavender to help your kids sleep? So I'm going to give you some safe ways for all ages that you can use lavender. Lavender is an adaptogen, which means your cells and your body will use lavender however they see fit. And I think this is truly an amazing thing to look at. I just really, really do, because what happens is it's a great thing to use because they're able to take the lavender in, and their cells will decide and determine how it's used. And to give you an idea of that, it's great for boosting stamina, maybe if your kid's an athlete or you need them to have really muscle stamina to prevent fatigue. It's also a relaxant, which helps them relax and helps them actually be able to go to sleep at night. So it's something that I really do enjoy using lavender on my kids. And the way I use that at night very often on them is I like to take a few drops, rub it in my hands, and put it all over their pillows before they go to sleep at night. I also really enjoy taking lavender and diffusing it in that diffuser, and I like to use cedarwood, which is also great relaxant and great for sleep. And I also like to use peace and calming, which I'm going to mention next, in there. So you can use it where you take your hands, rub them together, put it all over their pillows. You can make a linen spray with you're diluting it with water and a little bit of that salt to be an emulsifying agent and spray it all over their sheets. And you can also use lavender directly on their feet or down their spines. Diluted, of course. So I'm really mentioning dilution with kids. I mean, really at a 50-50 or greater dilution ratio, up to your child, up to your preference, up to their sensitivity, and really their ability and familiarity with oils. So the next oil I'm going to talk about in conjunction is Melrose. So Melrose and lavender together. I like to make a boo-boo balm. It's also what is in my dry winter skin recipe that I use from Homemade Mommy. And I love that because what you can do is it's a multi-purpose balm that's made of lavender and Melrose. And I use, I mean, there's different ratios you can use, but for us, we use about a quarter cup to actually about 10 drops of lavender and 5 drops of Melrose. And you can increase that with an older child. And I use that directly if they get a cut, scrape, bruise, bump. I can slap that right on there. I either do that or lavender neat if I'm comfortable with my kids. So definitely if my 3-year-old do that with the 18-month-old, I will use it neat if it's a cut that's bleeding and I want that to heal quickly. And then with the baby, I would just use the diluted boo-boo balm. So those two together are wonderful. Melrose on its own is a wonderful one that's going to be able to clean and disinfect wounds on the body. It's also one that's great if you have any kind of earaches or ear congestion, and it's a great immune boosting oil. So I would encourage you to look at that one as well. Peas and Calming. Peas and Calming does not come in the starter kit anymore, and I encourage everyone with children to go ahead and invest in that oil. That is a wonderful oil for overactive children. I hope most of you are understanding how wonderful this can be to calm your child down, really promote them to get into a mental state where they're going to be able to really clear their mind of a lot of things and feel like they are stable, they are grounded, they're able to actually really enjoy the evening time is how I like to think of it at my house. I have even put 1 drop on the crown of the head of my toddler, and I love being able to do that because it really calms him down, and I do that usually before the bath, and then he gets in there. It's a great one also to drop into Epsom salt and use in the bath, but it's one that a lot of people find if they have an overactive mood and roll directly or diffuse it, and it's going to affect their kid pretty immediately. The next one is purification. So purification. Our kids have a lot of stinky things. Stinky laundry, stinky diapers, depends on if you cloth diaper or not. And sometimes they might get fungal infections. Great to have purification. So all things stinky and all things that are gross that grow. Okay, so that sounds really silly, but that's why you want to have purification on hand. So just write that one down if that's on your list of things that you need to purchase or look at using for your kids. Citrus Fresh. Citrus Fresh does come in the kit now, and I think it's one that we really undervalue with our children. So our children really do usually need some kind of mental stimulant and boost in the morning. Please consider diffusing Citrus Fresh to help combat crankiness, grogginess in the morning. It's a great one to add to shampoo or a body wash or making homemade soap to use on your kids so that when they get up in the morning, they're actually able to feel awake and functional and revitalized, rejuvenated for the day. It's also a great one to use in cooking, and it's a great one if your child is really over the age of 9 and you're looking at ingesting regularly. It's a great one to put in water for them in the morning. I actually have my water right now, and it's fabulous. Now I want to go over a recipe that I adore this recipe. If you've tried it before, and I'm sure some of you have, it's the actual calming roll-on for kids. And so I want to go over how that's used and what's in it. So I'm going to pull that recipe off my computer. I hope that doesn't distract anyone too much. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up and show it. I'm not going to screen share with you guys, but I'm going to show you where to get it. It is, if you Google Homemade Mommy Kids Calming Roll-On, it's a great one for you to look at and consider. I will tell you that this is one that I was actually teaching a class, I think in October, and I was absolutely floored at what happened to my child when we used this roll-on camera. So we didn't mean to be doing that. Really didn't mean to show that publicly display what happened to him. But my kid has a lot of anxiety. He's very anxious if he's not the first person, at the soccer match, or he's not the first person in his dance class. He always wants to be the first person, kind of get used to his surroundings and move forward. So it's a great one for toddlers that are really self-aware and are pretty strong personality and strong-willed. It has orange in it. Orange is great for feelings of being overwhelmed. It's also great for adults in that way, but feelings of being overwhelmed and lost. Use a very small amount in this so it's not photosensitive. What photosensitivity means, if you're not familiar with oils, is it means that if you go out into the sunlight with these oils on your skin, you will have increased chances of burning because they do attract sunlight, and you need to watch for that, them being phototoxic from photosensitivity. Pomarosa. Pomarosa, if you have a kid that ever is exhausted, they have that nervous exhaustion where they're going, and they can't calm down, or if you have a child that you just feel like really, again, has a lot of that anxiety in them and that they have to carry a lot of tension, Pomarosa is great for combating nervous exhaustion and creates just complete feelings of security. And I have found that if I allow Avery to choose oils he wants to diffuse, he will choose Pomarosa every time. It's a great one. It's a fresh smelling one. It's great in this recipe and great diffused. It has cedarwood, and cedarwood, as I mentioned before, is going to be a great one for focus. It also helps combat confusion and agitation, which, if you have a child that feels agitated, you want to make sure you're able to calm them down and help them feel, again, more stable and focused, and helps combat those feelings of frustration and anger, similar to how peace and calming works because of the blue tansy in it. It also has lavender. Lavender is very calming. I was mentioning the calming effects of lavender earlier. And the last one it has ylang ylang in it. So ylang ylang is one that is great for supporting the release of nervous tension and emotions, and it's also uplifting, and it's one that really affects that olfactory system and the limbic region of the brain when inhaled. I love it because it's a very small amount in this recipe. It's not, when I say very small amount, it's not an overwhelming, scent in it. And what the recipe is 1 drop of orange, it's 20 drops Pomarosa oil, it's 20 drops cedarwood, 10 drops lavender, 10 drops ylang ylang, and 60 drops sweet almond oil. So that makes the dilution for this one a little bit less than 50-50, and I feel completely safe using it on my 3-year-old this way. I honestly apply it to him every single day, and when I don't, he just becomes, frankly, he's a different child. He tends to be very undirected and, again, have a lot of those frustration and anxiety in him. So I wanted to really just let you know that recipe is fabulous. It is on homademommy.net, and it is called the Kids Calming Roll-On. Love that one. The next oil I want to mention is ginger. Ginger is a wonderful one to use on fussy babies. It's similar in its effects to Gentle Baby, and that it can help with gas, can help with fussiness, and can help with colic. So dilute that one and try it on your baby. So if you have a kid under the age of 2 and they're ever fussy, pull out your ginger. They're going to smell like, I don't know, Thai food or like ginger candy, but dilute it a lot and use it on them. But it also is very, very good for nausea, and it's a really, really great one if you're able to stomach. It doesn't really make sense saying stomach, but if you're able to stomach the smell of it, it's a great one to diffuse and see if it can help combat that fussiness with a baby or young child. Gentle Baby. Gentle Baby is a favorite of mine. It's out of stock often, but this is an oil that I have found on our 10-week-old. I mean, just using it just by applying a little bit. I have it diluted for him. I have 5 drops in a tablespoon. It's about the ratio I have in a roll-on for him, and I put it on his stomach and I put it down his spine, and he instantly is just relaxed and calm. Like ginger, it also helps with gassiness. Has aroma chamomile in it. It has some lavender. It's a great relaxant. It's going to relax those smooth muscles. It's also going to be one that's going to have a relaxing aroma, and so that aromatherapy olfactory system effect that's going to go into their brain and stimulate their whole body. When I say stimulate, it's going to affect their whole body and help cause them to be relaxed for you and help them sleep better at night. So it's one I also diffuse to help sleep in my house at all times. I know I'm going close to 30 minutes, so really the last ones I want to put together as a group is people always ask, what do I do if my kid has a cold? What do I do if my kid is congested? So I'm going to address those 2 issues. If your kid is congested or if they have cold symptoms, your go-to every time should be lemon and purification diffused. Diffuse it, put it near them, run it on, if you're new to oils, maybe 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. If you're more familiar with them and your kid is, then I would put maybe 4 to 6 drops of each and diffuser in their room, and it will really help them sleep, help combat that congestion and those cold symptoms they may be facing. If that's not enough for you, your next safest option all the time, I would recommend that every single person here with a child really under the age of 5 needs to get Ravenstara. This oil is baby safe, kid safe, It's a single oil, and it's going to help open up airways. It's going to help with coughs. It's really, you're going to be your respiratory go-to for young children and babies. You can dilute them at the same dilution ratios as I mentioned earlier and try that. I like to put it in a roll-on. You can also make a homemade vapor rub with coconut oil or your other carrier-based oil of choice. Melt that down, add in some of that wonderful oil, and then you can put it in a container and have it ready to rub on their chest and help get rid of all that nasty mucus in there. The next two, Raven and RC. So RC stands for respiratory congestion. Some parents like to stay away from it just because it does have eucalyptus in it. You know, for me, I'm comfortable using it, but I still do stick with Raven Star if I can, and then I use RC diffused often. So that's one that's great to have on hand this time of year. And then Raven. So Raven's a little bit different because its base is made from different oils, and it's going to be one that's better for more asthma, asthma-related symptoms. Or things that are more rooted in lung issues rather than necessarily in throat issues, if that makes sense. So, but I would really encourage you to at least have those on hand, because when you need them, you want to have them there, and you want to be able to just grab them immediately and use on your kids or in your diffuser. Last thing that goes along with that is if your kids are congested, consider giving them a detox bath. Give them a detox bath with some Epsom salts, add in some oils to that, make sure they're drinking plenty of water. You can also add some coconut oil to make it a little more soothing and hydrating to their skin. But I would encourage you to give them a warm bath with Epsom salt and these oils. It's going to help open up their airways. It's going to increase the effects of the oil because the heat is going to activate and make the smell greater, the aromatherapy effect greater. And that immune boosting roll-on, of course, that I mentioned, I would encourage you to use it as often as you're comfortable. So people ask me a lot, can I use it multiple times a day? Well, sure, if you're comfortable. For me, we use it nightly. And then if we're around sick people, I just really diffuse a lot of those immune boosting oils more than just slapping on topically more and more. So the key with kids is to start slowly and increase gradually over time while you're helping them really their bodies adjust to the oils. And the other key is consistency. If your child has constant cold symptoms, one time of diffusing lemon and purification probably isn't going to work. So I encourage you to be consistent and do it often. Same thing with what I was mentioning with the kids calming roll-on. For Avery, we have to use it. I mean, we use it daily. We use it as needed as well, but we use it daily as a precaution before we go out the door to anywhere to make sure that he's able to really stay calm and be himself for the day. Same thing, going back to peppermint, the first oil I really talked about. If you are trying to increase the mental acuity and alertness of your 13-year-old, diffuse peppermint every single morning. Diffuse peppermint every single day while they are working. Frankincense and lemon are another option to diffuse together to help with that for younger children. They do that in a lot of preschools. Promise, last thing, Ningxia Red. Questions all the time about, can my 18-month-old drink Ningxia Red? Can my 4-year-old drink Ningxia Red? So my kids drink Ningxia Red. They think it's juice. I probably give Avery, who's 3, about a half an ounce, and I probably give Ethan even less than that, and then I fill up probably about 4 ounces of water as the ratio with that. I do increase it if they are getting sick or they have symptoms of getting sick. And I do that because it helps boost their immunity by having all of those antioxidants, having those citrus oils in it that are going to help boost glutathione production and D-limonene, and it just has literally the nutritional value of the wolfberry in there, has protein in there for them, it has a lot of antioxidants, and it's the highest beverage on the ORAC scale, which is going to be oxygenating to their cells, brings healing to their cells. I really would encourage you to buy some Ningxia Red if you haven't already, and give it a try with your kids and see how they like it. Mine really do love the taste, and I'm sure yours will too once you let them know that it's a special treat that's going to help them be healthy. You can let them take it out of a tiny shot glass or dilute it with water, and please use that. And also look into the other products in Living has to look at a non-toxic lifestyle for your kids. Clean your home with Thieves Household Cleaner. Know what you're cleaning with. Know when your kids put things in their mouth what they're getting. They're getting things that are beneficial to them and not those toxic, gross products. Know what you're washing their hair with. Make your own shampoo and use oils or use Young Living. Know when you give your teenager deodorant to use that you're giving them a non-toxic solution and you're helping change their lives. You're giving them something that's going to allow them to be healthy, functioning adults. So I encourage you, investigate your options, invest in a healthy lifestyle for your kids, and invest and preserve their future and for generations going forward by using these amazing products that God gave to us and that we have the opportunity to use through Young Living. I wholeheartedly know that you and your family can benefit from using these products and these oils especially, and I cannot wait to hear your questions and see how you have changed your life and those around you. So thanks for spending your time with me. I appreciate it, and again, have a great day, and just looking forward to seeing all of you live a life of wellness, purpose, and abundance with Young Living. Thanks. Sorry, I did not mean to make the broadcast continue going on. I thought I cut it off. So thanks you guys for your time, and I will see you online.